Okay. All right. No licking in front of everybody. So let's start with a little bit of gentle activation for this full moon class. So just bring your awareness to your fingers and your thumbs and just gently move through the joints, noticing how they're feeling this evening. And then you might want to just begin to rotate through the wrists one way and then the other. And then let's begin to make that gentle figure of 8 movement through the wrists and the hands, like you're painting an infinity symbol or a figure of 8 on its side through the air. And then maybe making that movement a little bit bigger, making it sort of feeling it come up to the elbows, the whole lower arm, sort of making this pattern. And then all the way up to the shoulders, beginning to bring the backs of the hands together, opening the chest, feeling the shoulder blades squeeze. Breathing in as you open the chest, breathing out as you come forward, just making these gentle, big looping infinity symbol patterns with the arms. And then just beginning to slow that down, maybe take them down by the sides of the body and coming to be still. And then we'll do the same for the legs. So taking your weight over onto one foot and maybe just beginning to rotate through the ankle to start with, gently one way and then the other. And maybe if you want to make that figure of 8 pattern, have a go at that. And then feel that sort of figure of 8 pattern begin to come up the knee. And you might even swing the knee gently back and forth. So just moving through the joints before we come to sit. And maybe then swinging the whole leg sort of back and forth just gently. And then giving the whole leg a bit of a shake, just a gentle one. Letting that come all the way up to the hip, maybe taking it out to the side, out behind. And then gently back to the front and placing that leg down, gently shifting the weight to the other foot. And then beginning that on the other side, so beginning to circle through the ankle one way and the other, feeling into that ankle joint, checking in with that balance. Maybe making that figure of 8 movement, noticing how that is on that side. Coming up to the knee and then maybe a bit of gentle swinging through the knee. And making that come up into the leg, gentle swinging back and forth at the leg. Oops. Harder to do on one side than the other. And then just let the whole leg be nice and floppy. Give it a bit of a shake all the way from the hips down to the toes. You might take it out to the side, out behind, and coming back to the front. And then just give everything a bit of a gentle shake. And then let's do a little bit of work with the figure of 8 with the pelvic girdle. So take the feet sort of about shoulder width apart and just begin to make that figure of 8 with the hips. So one hip comes forward, one comes back, feeling that gentle shifting of the weight from one foot to the other. So if you had a paintbrush on your tailbone, you'd be making that figure of 8 on its side, adjusting the feet to however wide you need. It's a beautiful, gentle activation to do in the evening. You don't want to get too energized, but moving the body around enough before we come to sit. And you might pause and try coming back the other way. And then maybe beginning to lead with the elbows and see if you can let that movement come into the shoulder girdle, feeling it traveling up the muscles at the side of the spine. You take the arms where you like, maybe off to the side a bit, maybe overhead. And it's feeling that figure of 8 or infinity pattern coming through the whole body. And then let's begin to morph that more into a side opening movement. So taking the weight over to one foot and then opening through the other side of the body, and then taking the weight to the other side and opening the other way. So just gently feeling that Stretching from the hips, under the arms. Just letting yourself sort of gently flow from one side to the other. And doing that with full awareness, feeling where you feel that stretch down the side of the body, the hips, under the arms, the squeeze of the organs on one side, the stretch on the other. Gentle movements. And then coming to let the arms lower down. And let's make that figure of 8 pattern to the side of the body. So the palm of the hand face forwards. We draw it back, then we kind of turn, make that figure of 8, and the back of the hand comes forward. So we're sort of painting this figure of 8 at the side of our body. Bring in a little bit of a gentle twist. You can sort of let the neck and the head come around to look back, a bit of a gentle twist. And coming to slow that down on this side, pausing. And then let's do that on the other side, drawing back with that hand and then coming back forward. So palm faces back forward as you draw back, and then back of the hand as comes forward. Just softly moving, feeling that arm move through the air, turning gently to look behind, gentle twist. And coming back to be still, give both arms a bit of a shake. Then we'll do a little bit of gentle cross patterning, which helps the brain prepare for meditation. So just gently patting one hand to one knee, the same hand onto the same knee. And then alternate that, so the opposite hand to the opposite knee. And then maybe the opposite hand to the opposite ankle, so maybe a bit of a stretch. You can have the hands come out to the side. And then without thinking about it too much, the opposite hand to the opposite heel. Just keeping it slow, not being too fast with this one tonight. And then coming to tap the opposite hand to the opposite knee again. And then coming to be still. And then we better do a little bit of hip opening or hip circling, ready to sit. So take your weight over onto one foot and then begin to lift up that knee and open it out to the side, and then lower it back down and come to the front. So doing that again, inhaling as you lift up, exhaling as you come down. And just feel into that hip, how it's moving this evening. Feeling into that circling movement. And then one more this way. And then we'll do that the other way. So opening out to the side and coming back to the front. Reversing that, doing that a couple more times. And giving that whole leg a bit of a shake. And then we'll do that on the other side. So taking your weight over onto the other foot. And if you're doing this at home with the recording, you might want to have a chair handy. So opening that hip out to the side, lifting it up. You can sort of just bring it a bit lower if it's too much to come up, just coming up to wherever feels comfortable. And just have a sense of circling the hip around. One more. And pausing, and then go the other way. So opening out to the side first and coming back to the front. Oops. And coming to pause. Give both legs a bit of a shake. The arms a bit of a shake. And then we'll do a little bit of spinal waving to warm up the spine. So just letting the chin come to the chest, the shoulders roll down. As you trace the hands down the front of the body, hands come to the floor. And then bending the knees and arm curling to come back up. Then return to look to the outside of the foot and roll down at a bit of an angle. And then rolling back up. Then turn over to the other side. And to bring in the breath, let the out breath roll you down. And the in breath curl you back up. Coming back down the center, exhaling as you fold forward, bend the knees, inhale, just going to push back through, come up again. Exhaling, we'll do it one more time to each side. Just see if you can feel the spine sort of moving segmentally in this wave pattern. And then coming down the center one last time, making it a good one. Pausing and then pushing through the feet. Inhale, uncurling one vertebra at a time, rolling up. Shoulders roll back. And then let's do a few more of those shoulder rolls. So on the inhale, they roll forwards. On the exhale, they roll back. Inhaling, exhaling. One more time. Have a sense of releasing through the shoulders and opening through the chest. And then just pausing and just notice the body, notice the breath, and notice how you're feeling. So we're going to work with energy block release 2, at least the first half of it. So come to standing in a mountain posture, feet connected to the earth. You might want to just lift the toes slightly, check that the feet are parallel to the floor. And then bring your awareness up to your knees. Just check there's a bit of softness in the knees, that you haven't locked them. And check in with the pelvis. You might like to just tilt it back and forth a little, find a place of ease and comfort. And then on your next out breath, pull up on the pelvic floor muscles, pull on the abdominal muscles like you're pulling the skin away from your clothing, just providing that corset of support. Then take a breath in and roll one shoulder up and back. And then doing that on the other side, inhaling on the out breath, just let the shoulder glide down the back, feeling the chest open. Then take your breath awareness back to the base of the spine. As you breathe in, imagine lifting out the hips, the spine lengthening. As you breathe out, the shoulders soften, fingers and thumbs soften. Inhaling, feel the back of the neck lengthen. Exhale, softening. And then one last time, imagine you've got like a golden cord at the top of the crown. You're just being drawn up, nice and tall and long. And on the out breath, you just soften down. And taking the gaze to the floor or closing your eyes if you feel comfortable to do so for a few moments. As we just come into this standing meditation and just practice a little bit of vertical alignment breath. So take your breath awareness back down to the soles of the feet. You might like to imagine that you can breathe in through the soles of the feet and imagine that breath traveling up through the legs all the way to the heart. Pausing, and as you're ready to breathe out, imagine that breath traveling up through the neck and leaving through the crown of the head into the sky above. Doing that again, inhaling from the crown down to the heart, pausing. And as you exhale, let go of anything, let it travel down through the legs and be released into the earth on the out breath. Inhaling from the earth, bringing in a quality of calm from the earth below. Let that rest at your heart. And as you breathe out, just breathe out and let go of any business of mind. You might like to imagine you're standing outside under this full moon, this lunar eclipse, feeling the moon's silvery light. And just imagine drawing that light into the crown of the head on the next in-breath and let it travel down to the heart. And just do a couple more rounds of this vertical alignment breath to the rhythm and pace of your own breath. Just feeling a sense of aligning the physical body, the subtle body. Beautiful. And then on the next in-breath, open the eyes or bring the gaze up as we come into energy block release 2, also known as Be Here Now. So we're going to start with the breath of Arjuna. So crossing the wrists in front, leading with the elbows, coming up overhead, and then the arms softly float back down. So we'll bring in the breath as we inhale, as we lengthen up, and exhale as the arms float down. Seeing if you can alternate which wrist comes in front. Inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, releasing down. So have a sense of lifting off, letting go of anything that doesn't serve you. Feeling that stretch up towards the sky and then the softening down to the earth. And then we're going to take the Brahma Mudra. So all the fingers and the thumbs come in, just leaving the index finger out and making that same movement So it's feeling the difference that this mudra makes. So a mudra is just like a hand movement or a gesture. And the Brahma Mudra is the mudra of creativity. So let your creativity flow here. You might like to have a sense of surrounding yourself with a light, or surrounding yourself with energy, and affirming to yourself, I enhance my creativity. And this time as the hands come overhead, releasing the palms, bring the palms together, bringing the crown of the heel of the head to the crown. I'm going to come into the chair of the heart. So remember, if you've got any heart issues or shoulder issues, you can work from here to the forehead, otherwise over the head. And then we sort of come as if we're going to be sitting down on a stool and lengthen the arms up at the same time as we push down, and then coming back up again. So bringing in the breath, inhale as we lengthen up and push down through the feet. Exhale as we come back. So it's just like a pump for the heart. Inhale, feeling the heart, the lungs expand. Exhale, softening. Doing that again, inhaling, exhaling. Then one more. Then lowering the hands down, they come down to about the level of the heart, the palms facing in as we come into our anahata breath, or the breath of the heart. So drawing the palms towards the chest area and then softly pushing them away. Inhaling and exhaling. Have a sense of softness in the elbows, the knees, a bit of a spinal wave. You might like to affirm to yourself, may all my actions be filled with compassion. As you have a sense of breathing in love and joy and breathing out compassion. Or with this full moon, you might sort of like to have a sense of letting go, drawing in what you need and releasing what you don't. Drawing in calm, peace, letting go. One more. And as the hands come out, just let them sort of come out in front. Elbows are soft still as we come into the second stage of our spinal twist. So turning one foot out, twisting from the base of the spine, coming up onto the back toes. Twist comes from the base of the spine, untwisting from the base of the spine back to the front, turning that foot out, twisting the other way, coming up onto the toes, and then untwisting back to come forward. So we'll bring in the breath. So we exhale as we twist around, and inhale as we come back. Exhaling, feeling that twist come from the base of the spine up, hydrating all the little discs between the vertebrae. One more on each side. And then coming to face forward, lowering the arms down. You might want to give them a bit of a shake as we come into our arm rotation. So rotating shoulders, elbows, wrists, opening the chest, and then going the other way. So inhaling as we open and exhale as we reverse the other way. And then beginning to work the arms up a little bit higher each time. So we're just working through all the major joints, the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists. You should work those arms up a little bit higher or to wherever is comfortable for your arms. And then when we've come all the way up to the top, one palm is up and one is down. And you might want to look towards an open palm, or you might want to look forward, just check in with your neck, and then reverse that, maybe looking towards the other open palm. Like you're wringing out all the muscles, like a towel, wringing out a wet towel. And notice where you feel that. You might feel that through the upper back. You might stretch from fingertips to fingertips. And then turning both palms up, we're going to work our way down how we came up. So sort of just starting to work those arms back down a little bit gradually each time. Until they're down by the side. Give them a bit of a shake as well. So we'll come into the standing cat. So maybe taking the feet a little bit wider apart, about shoulder width or so, and sort of coming to a tabletop bat, bringing the hands down onto the inner thighs, fingers facing in. And we're going to do this standing cat, so similar to the cat that we've done it on all fours. So just feel in to the base of the spine. And as you breathe out next, arch from the base of the spine, let your chin tuck in. And when you're ready to breathe out, a feeling of lengthening from the base of the spine, crown of the head reaching the other wall, the opposite wall. As you want to breathe out, arch from the base of the spine, tuck the chin in. Inhale, lengthening from the base of the spine. And then just let that movement flow with your breath. If the breath isn't flowing, just focus on the movement. Just visualizing each vertebra moving segmentally. You might want to send in a light or a color. One more. And then coming back to that neutral tabletop back, we're going to come into more of a twisting cat. So keeping the knees and the hips facing forward, twist from the base of the spine, look over one shoulder, and then come back to center. Doing that the other way, twisting from the base of the spine, looking over the other shoulder. And then just do that a couple more times. Exhale as you twist from the base of the spine, looking one way. Inhale as you come back to the midline. Exhale as you twist the other way. And just notice where you feel that. It might be sort of more in the side of the back. And one more on each side. And then coming to face forward again, taking the opposite elbow on the opposite hand as we come into more of a diagonal or spinal stretch to the side. So we're going to take that opposite elbow down and away to the opposite big toe. Then come back to the midline of the body and then sort of we're twisting to the side, well not twisting, sort of stretching to the side, sort of down and away to the big toe. And then back to the midline. So bringing the breath, we exhale as we stretch across on the diagonal, and we inhale as we come back to the middle. And just notice where you feel that. Once again, trying to keep the hips and the knees still, feeling this movement come more from the base of the spine. One more on either side. And then coming back to the center, release hands both down, hands down. They can be on your calves or they can come to the floor. Then we're going to come into the heaven and earth stretch. So leave one hand on the floor and then uncurl the other hand, reaching up towards the sky. You might turn and look towards that upward hand if that's okay for the neck. And then lower that arm back down to the floor and then do that on the other side. Uncurl that other arm like a wing, looking up towards that hand if that's comfy for your neck, and then lowering back down. So bringing the breath as the arm expands up towards the heavens above and exhaling as it comes back down. Do that a couple of times on each side, feeling that connection to the earth below and the heavens above. One more on whichever side you're on. And then just coming to stand in a forward fold. You might like to pivot the feet to about hip width apart. Take a breath in and then the breath out, uncurl, rolling back up. Shoulders and head come back up last. And just pausing here at the end of the first half of Energy Block Release 1. Just notice how the body is feeling, the breath, and how you're feeling generally from when you arrived or when you first started this sequence. So have a sip of water if you've got one nearby. Very important to keep hydrated. So we're going to go straight into our Prana Kriyas. And then we'll settle briefly in Crocodile or Makarasana at the end of that before we come to sit for Pranayama and meditation. So just getting you reconnecting to the earth below, feeling that connection through the feet. And rolling the shoulders back. So we're going to start with Prana Vayu. So the focus is on the inflow, upward energy, and the in-breath. So taking a breath in, the hands kind of draw up the midline of the body, come up over above, stretching up, bit of a flick of the fingers. Feel that sense of filling up. And then on just a normal out breath, no focus, tracing the hands down to the ground, And then sweeping the hands to the back of the legs. And inhale as you kind of curl back up, the hands trace up, they don't touch the legs. And then the hands come to the lower back as you come into a bit of a back bend. So exhale as the hands trace down, just a normal exhale. And then have a sense of inhaling as if you're drawing up energy from the earth and then releasing it above. Folding forwards, exhaling. Hands sweep behind the back and trace up the back of the legs on the inhale. Long inhale, squeezing the elbows, feeling the chest open. And then exhale, releasing down. That one more time. Have a strong sense of upward energy coming up through the top half of the body, about through the head. And then out breath, releasing down. Inhaling one last time up the back of the legs, feeling the elbows squeeze together, the chest open. And then exhaling, coming back down. Hands come to the front, and as you draw them up, have the palms facing one another and draw them up to about the level of the navel as we come into Samana Vayu, so the area of digestion. So we're going to digest and assimilate all that energy that we brought in. You might like to imagine there's a beautiful golden light or golden band around your midriff that you're sort of working with. So taking a breath in, we sort of do this sort of movement where the sort of midriff moves, but the hips don't. So we take an out breath, like a 70-30 out breath. Then in breath back to the middle, out breath the other way. You have a sense of sort of digesting all that energy that you've moved into the body, that you've drawn in, and sort of assimilating it, sifting through it. Sort of energy flows from side to side around the midriff. One more on each side. And then coming back to face forward. And the hands come up just above the shoulder, in front of the shoulders as we come into a Dharana Vayu. So this is now about expressing and using the energy that we've got. So step forward, just sort of 1 foot step with 1 foot, doesn't really matter which side. And we're going to just gently shift our weight onto the back foot as the hands draw back. And then we draw the hands forward, and the weight comes onto the front foot, and then we hinge from the sternum up. So drawing back on the in-breath, then that same 70-30 out breath. So drawing back onto the back foot, and then weight comes under the front foot, a bit of a bend in the knee. And then swapping sides, bringing the other foot forward. And you don't need to do both feet, but you can if you like to do it even, it doesn't matter. So then inhale. So it's like we've sort of maybe got like a gentle golden rod in front of us that we're sort of gently pushing forwards and then kind of lifting up. So the sternum is lifting. Have a sense of that energy coming up through the heart center, the throat, and then sort of spiraling down the limbs and through the crown out as we express ourselves. And coming back, and the arms come down. So we're now going to do a Prana Vayu, which is the same movement that we did at the beginning, but with the focus on downward energy and the out breath. So just take a normal in-breath in, no emphasis, no reaching, no flicking. And then a strong out breath, pushing the hands down as if you're pushing them through thick air. Sweep the hands down and around the back of the legs. Normal inhale, no focus on that as you come back. And then strong exhale. As the hands trace down, touch the earth. Inhale, just a normal inhale as you draw the hands up the midline of the body. And then a strong exhale. Imagine being able to push out any toxins, anything that you want to let go of, and just release it into the earth. Touch the earth if you can. Hand sweep to the back. Inhale, coming up. And then exhaling, going down. So we'll do one more round. Inhaling. You can do this one, the letting go, as much as you need or think you need to do it. Particularly this time with the moon, good to let go. And inhaling up the back of the legs. Exhaling down one more time. And then we're just going to inhale, hands draw up the front of the body and just come to rest overhead. So as if you're standing outside under the sun or maybe the silvery moonlight tonight, and just letting that glow down on the hands as we come into the Anavaya, or the connection with all that is. So have a sense of filling up with that light. And when you feel like you've filled up with it, turn the palms to the crown of the head and then just draw them down the midline of the body. As the hands come to the base, beginning to just gently roll forwards, hands trace down, little energy centers in the legs, and come to touch the earth if you can. Then have the palms, fingers touching the earth and palms facing one another. And we're going to let the hands come out to the side, the palms face down as we draw up, and then turning the palms to face up, and then drawing them overhead once again, filling up with light, prana, and then turning them facing down towards the crown, drawing back down through the midline of the body, and then folding forwards again, coming down towards the earth. Once again, drawing the hands out to the side. In breath as you draw the arms up, out breath as you sink down and the palms face up. Inhaling as the palms come overhead, have a sense of filling up again. And then on out breath, turning the palms to face the crown, drawing down past the crown of the head, the brow, down past the throat, the heart center, down past the solar plexus, sacral area in the base, and then letting the hands sweep out to the side, and then bring the palms together at Namaste, thumbs touching the sternum. Have a sense of that unity that the two palms touching brings. As you just feel into the effects of those Prana Kriyas, you might feel a sense of balance in the body. And because it's such a special practice, it'd be nice to be able to share that practice out to the benefit of others. So I invite you to sort of scoop into the heart and then offer out the benefits of the practice and just let it go wherever that's needed in the world. And let the hands float down by the sides. Beautiful. So we'll come to just rest really briefly in crocodile. So coming to make your way down onto your mat, lying on your tummy. Your feet sort of are out to the sides, heels are in, making a little place for the forehead to go. And then just letting go. So the crocodile is the posture of letting go. Have a sense of taking a breath in, and then on the out breath, releasing anything into the earth below that you don't need, anything you want to let go of, anything that's troubling you. Take a breath in again, feel the breath soften on the out breath, soften the abdomen, the hips, the shoulders. As you just rest and digest for a few moments, all the movements in that energy block release and Prana Kriyas sequence. And then on the next in-breath, just deepening the breath, bringing the feet back together, tucking the toes under, bring the hands under the shoulders, and just push kindly and gently back into extended child pose. Taking a few breaths there. And then on your next in-breath, begin to uncurl from the base of the spine. Coming to up to sitting. And then get whatever you need to be comfortable. You just have to move a cat onto another blanket. You have that blanket, Jamie. So get a cushion, rug up, whatever you need to be warm for sitting for the next 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So we're going to work with the equal ratio breath a little bit before we sit, and then we're going to sit, part the body, and we're going to work with a meditation called the Shanti Prana Drew meditation. So Shanti meaning peace and prana energy. So it's sort of with a focus on the physical body. And obviously with the full moon, maybe setting an intention of a sense of calm, maintaining your calm during this time. See if you can feel and observe your emotions from a place of serenity. That's a beautiful full moon card. Which, well, it's back to front, isn't it, on the camera? So maybe having a sense of that. So to start, we'll just come to sit comfortable. We won't sort of completely part the body. So we'll do a little bit of work with the equal ratio breath, or square breathing, or samavriti breath. So it's a really good one to assist to bring greater depth to your stillness as you meditate, and helps with controlling the mind. So you can have your eyes closed or just gaze to the floor. We're sort of not getting ready. We'll just practice this pranayama first. So just start bringing in a bit of equal breathing. So you might breathe in for a count of 4. Just a natural pause of 1, and then breathe out for a count of 4. So just doing that a couple more times. You might find that you need to do an in-breath of 5, or it might be 3. Just going with whatever works for your breath. So at any point with any of the breath techniques, if you feel dizzy or you feel like the breath is straining, just let it go. Go back to your normal breath. So equal ratio breath, breathing in for 4 or 5, natural pause, and then breathing out. So then we're going to bring in a longer pause between the inhale and the exhale. So just see if you might like to visualize 4 sides of a square in your mind's eye as you breathe, or you might prefer to count or feel into your heartbeat. So take a breath in for, say, a count of 4, and then pause for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 4. Oops, sorry, pause for a count of 4 at the end of that. So it's sort of a ratio of inhale to 4, pause at the end of inhale for 4, exhaling for 4, and then pausing. So another way to visualize it is you might breathe in up one side of the square or a box, pause as your mind's eye works across the top, then exhaling down the other outside of the box, and then pausing as you travel along the bottom. And just go with whatever works for you, whether you prefer counting or the visualization. You might just like to feel into the heartbeat. That's my kind of preferred option. If you're sort of still, you can almost count the heartbeats, particularly on the pauses. And just, you can increase that ratio as you practice more to suit your breath. And just have a sense of feeling into how that equal ratio breath, that brings a bit of more stillness to you. And then when you finish that next round, just letting the breath go, that breath practice, and just coming to breathe normally for a couple of breaths. So we'll go through all our practices to sort of prepare the body. So hopefully sitting with an elevated spine, whether you're sitting in a chair with your feet flat on the floor, or you might be sitting sort of on a cushion to tilt the pelvis so that the spine is kind of tall but relaxed. And your hands can be relaxed on the thighs, or they can be in the lap. But before we get too settled, we'll settle the body with a bit of stretching. So let's do a breath in and sort of stretch up through the arms, feel the hips kind of lift up, and then breathe out, float back down. And we'll do that again. So inhale as we lengthen up. The length sets the spine lengthening, and then just clasp one wrist with the other hand, and maybe a bit of a gentle stretch to one side. And then coming back up on the in-breath, swapping wrists, gentle stretch to the other side, and then coming back up. And then let the hands come down. So the opposite hand comes to the knee, and the other hand comes back as you come into a bit of a gentle twist. Inhale, arms come the other way. One hand to the knee, other hand behind with a gentle twist the other way. And then inhale, coming back. Letting the hands rest on the thighs or in your lap. And then just begin to circle the sacrum. So the point of contact with the seat or the cushion, just circling the sacrum around one way. Like your spine is like a pendulum. And then going the other way. Have a sense of feeling like you're settling down into that seat below and then coming to be still. So then we'll do a little bit of work in parking the body. So it's a little bit like when we do our tense and release and a relaxation. So take a breath in and tense the feet all the way up to the thighs, and then use the out breath to soften. The next breath in, imagine lengthening through the spine, elongating, and on the out breath, softening into a relaxed posture. The next in breath, expand the whole abdomen, the chest, the back of the body, the sides. Breathing out, soften. Next in breath, you might like to tense the hands up to the shoulders. And on the out breath, let the arms relax. And tensing into the face. And on the out breath, softening. And then let your eyes close on an exhale and just let them soften. Maybe feel them soften into the back of the head, the muscles around your eyes relaxing. As you just let go of holding into the safety of the surface below that you're sitting on. And as your body becomes still, you might find the mind settles into the stillness as well. And then we're going to practice or be aware of the 3 acceptances as we prepare to meditate. So we use these 3 acceptances to stay detached from the fluctuations of our mind. So firstly, just accept your environment around you, the sounds, the sensations, warmth, the coolness, maybe movement around you or outside, just accepting the environment as it is. And we often think that we need this perfect, peaceful, quiet place to meditate, but you can learn to meditate anywhere if you can accept your environment. And then thinking about our awareness of accepting our body, just accepting any sensations in the body, any sort of little aches, pains, itches, twitches. Obviously, if there's pain and you need to move. Otherwise, just see if you can accept those little sensations, sit with them, and just see if they move away. And then the third acceptance is to accept your mind, accept the distractions. You will find that thoughts will arise, and just see if you can observe them with a sense of acceptance and let them fade away. So again and again, accepting your thoughts and then letting them disappear. And then we're going to use a little bit of breath awareness and concentration to settle in a little bit more. So we're going to practice a concentration exercise called Pritvhi Dharanam, or sort of an earth concentration or focus. So the body is nice and relaxed and still. Just begin to watch your breath. Follow the breath with your awareness. And with each breath, let it enter more, a little bit deeper, further down into the body. And as you breathe out, let the awareness flow up and out the nostrils. So breathing in, feeling the breath might come down to the chest, the abdomen, and then feeling the breath awareness flow back up and out the nostrils. Just continue this process, sinking lower with each in-breath You might let the awareness sink below the diaphragm, all the way to the ground or the chair that you're sitting on. Following the breath all the way down to the base of your spine. And letting it flow back up on the out breath. And then on the next in-breath, see if you can let that breath flow beyond that point and into the earth, so beyond the base of the spine. And then the breath flows up and out of the earth, back through the body, back through the nose. And if you can't take your awareness further beyond the base of the spine, that's okay. But if there is resistance, you might like to let your awareness change so you perceive the earth below you as being full of space. That you can breathe down into it and then breathe out from it. Just feeling a sense of grounding in the lower half of the body that this practice brings, a settling, a stillness. And then have a slight change of perception. And you might like to begin to feel as though it's the earth itself who is breathing in and out through you. So your in-breath becomes the in-breath of the earth, and your out-breath becomes the out-breath of the earth. So you're reversing that around now. And as you breathe out, the breath is traveling down and out into the earth. And then you're breathing in through the earth, up through the body. You might have a sense of feeling your body becoming part of the earth below, very still. Or maybe having a gratitude for the connection you have with the earth. And just let your awareness just rest there at the base of the spine. So for this Shanti Prana Drew meditation, which is a body concentration exercise, just bring a beginner's mind to this exercise as you bring your focus, as you witness the physical body and any sensations. So just trying to keep that awareness in the physical body. So we'll begin with that awareness still at the connection to the surface you're sitting on, that contact with the floor, the mat, the cushion, the chair. And just keeping the breath awareness there, having a sense of the breath awareness down at the very base. Taking some breath there. And we're going to be sort of working through upwards through the physical body. If you were doing this practice in your own time, you could keep that awareness there at the base as long as you felt comfortable to. And then when you feel sort of a sense of energy or tension rising up, you could move up a level. So just let your awareness, for the point of this exercise, whether you're ready or not, just let your awareness rise up to the abdomen. Becoming aware of that rising and falling of the abdomen as you breathe. And just focusing on the physical movement of that breath, awareness at the abdomen. The feeling of the diaphragm pushing down and releasing. Sense of awareness around the area of the navel. And then in your own time, bringing the awareness up more to the subtle movement of the chest, the sternum. So keeping your awareness there at the level of the heart, the chest. So not bringing the awareness into the heart center as such, but just that physical area of the sternum, the ribs expanding with the breath and softening. You might begin to notice a sense of warmth rising in this area. And just sit with that sensation of this chest opening, heart opening breath and the softening. And then when you make a choice to allow the awareness to rise a little bit higher to the level of the throat. And as you focus the breath at the throat, just become aware of the gentle sound of your breath. That sort of sound, the or sa, as the breath comes in, and then as the breath goes out. You might even practice a little ocean breath or ujjayi breath here, where you just gently constrict the sort of throat. And just have a sense of feeling the breath traveling through this level of the throat. Maybe feeling the breath making that sound when you hold a shell to the ear, that gentle sound of the ocean. As your breath awareness just sits there at that level of the throat for a few more breaths. And then letting the focus rise up to the nostrils. And you become aware of the sensation of the coolness as the air enters the body through the nose. And maybe a sensation of the slightly warm air that leaves through the nose on the exhale. So bring your awareness back to the breath coming in through the nose and leaving through the nose. And with this focus on the physical body and the breath in the physical body, just resisting the temptation, if you're feeling it, to just let the awareness rise any higher, just keeping that breath awareness at the nose and the nostrils. And then when you're ready, let the breath awareness just come back to the level of the heart to finish. As you rest in stillness there, feeling that gentle rise and fall of the chest, feeling the breath warming that area of the heart. And you rest in that heart center. You just might like to think of the full moon out there. So the lunar energy is most powerful at this phase of the full moon, the time when our emotions are released and we can easily sort of lose control or feel fatigue. So maybe trying to stay calm, not allowing the emotions to take over. So important to just open the heart and stay connected at this time. As you breathe in, allow the light of the moon to warm your heart. And just let go of any aspects of your life that no longer serve you. And then the sound of the crown chakra bowl begin to re-energize the mind, the body, the spirit. Choosing to become aware of your physical body as it sits here in its place of meditation. I invite you to be aware of your head and draw your awareness into its center. Be aware of your chest and draw your awareness towards your heart. Be aware of your spine as you draw your awareness down the spine from the top to the base. And be aware of your arms and legs. Bring your attention into the limbs. You might like to begin to gently move the fingers and the toes. Bring your awareness back to the breath and maybe beginning to slightly deepen it. And just becoming aware of the surroundings and welcoming those sounds, sensations back in again. And keeping the eyes closed for the time being. So our quote for this week with the theme of compassion is from Jack Cornfield. To let go does not mean to get rid of. To let go means to let be. When we let be with compassion, things come and go on their own. So I think we'll palm the eyes to tonight. So just rubbing the palms together, having that physical sensation of the palms rubbing together, warming those little energy centers in the palms, feeling the physical connection of the fingers, the hands. And then just place those warm palms over your closed eyes, letting them seal out the light. And then let the eyes sort of open into this warm space, let them drink in that warmth, giving the optic nerve a bit of a break. Then letting the hands come down, the light filter back in. You might like to give yourself a little bit of a tap on the temple or massaging through the scalp. And then invite you to draw both hands down onto the heart as we finish with our 3 Oms. So taking a breath in. And bring the palms together, feeling that connection between the left and right sides of the body in unity as you bow your wise mind to your compassionate heart. Namaste. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Well, thank you, everyone. And I'm recording this. So for those of you that are watching the recording, I hope you enjoy it and feel free to use it for regular practice.